Hi beautiful soul. In this video I'm wanting to share how to live a more abundant life and some of the practical things that I did to live more abundantly and transform my relationship with things like money and feeling worthy of abundance. And so I do think it is a two-pronged approach. So there's definitely the spiritual and psychological element of abundance and creating more abundance and believing that we're worthy of abundance. But then there is also the practical side of things. So um, they both go hand in hand, and I don't believe you can have one without the other. So things that helped me feel and live a more abundant life were looking at my money story, looking at my fear mentality or scarcity mindset or poverty consciousness, and where I was operating from a belief that there isn't enough or that I have to work really hard and burn myself out in order to achieve security and material abundance, and just that anxiety around the scarcity side of things, being worried that there wasn't going to be enough, or that, you know, I wouldn't be provided for in that way. And that meant going back into childhood and looking at my parents, money story, their scarcity mindset, their poverty consciousness and lack mentality around material abundance, and recognizing that that's where I picked up a lot of my own story, and reframing that and looking at where my own lack of self worth and lack of self esteem related to that as well, and trying to heal those parts. Also, looking at my attachment to the material world. So, when you're in this lack mentality around material abundance and security, you're viewing like money as the primary source of security. Like that is where you feel security comes from. But that actually creates a unhealthy dependence on money and actually blocks it. And so looking at all the abundance around you that isn't necessarily monetary, like it doesn't have to be financial. It can be the security of, living in a home, living in a country that's safe, having family around you, having pets, like having beautiful relationships, having other meaningful and beautiful, abundant things in your life that aren't just money. So, feeling abundant with other things that you have creates more of an abundance mindset rather than that lack mentality. Also, struggling to let money flow through you. So, I like to think of myself as a conduit for money. So, money comes in and money comes out, and money flows freely through me. And that actually creates more of a flow. It doesn't block things either coming in or going out. So, just changing my mindset around um, flow and not resisting flow has also been really helpful. Also, thinking about values. So, I'm all about values based spending. I will spend generously on things that align with my values, and I no longer spend on things that do not. And that sometimes means going against your friends or going against other expectations, um, even in workplaces, things like that, in order to make sure that what you're spending on is in alignment with your own values. So I think it's important to get clear on your values. What are your values? And anything that isn't in alignment with that, just reduce any spending, because that does create, I think, that inner conflict or that inner dissatisfaction as well when we don't do things in accordance with our values, particularly around abundance. and also working on trusting the universe, like trusting that divine timing's at play, that future opportunities are coming. There's always an abundance of opportunities around us, and if we trust the universe, we're more likely to be able to see those things. And then there are the practical elements. So becoming literate in terms of the world that's around us, in terms of the structures that we live in, understanding how it all works in terms of like budgeting, in terms of investing, in terms of managing debt, in terms of decision making around finances, looking at things like emotional spending, and triggers like that is really important as well, just to reduce any of the things that cause strain around abundance, and challenges in creating and kind of managing and sticking to goals. So we still need to have goals, even if we do all the spiritual side of things and the psychological elements. Those aren't really going to matter if we aren't doing the practical physical steps to get from where we are to where we want to be. And thinking about, stability of income. So looking at alternative ways to support ourselves and taking action on those can be really beneficial. Just coming out of that box and that mindset of like all of our abundance or all of our income needs to come from working in a job. That's simply not true. The world that we live in is incredibly abundant, and when we start believing that, it's amazing what kind of things can happen and what kind of opportunities can come to us. So for me, that meant reading books about the financial side of things. I studied tax law, so that was really beneficial for me to understand the taxation system where I live. But you don't have to do a degree, I'm not suggesting that, but just like reading, becoming more literate, taking actionable steps. Like a lot of books out there do step you through no matter what point you're at, and this is something that everyone should feel empowered about. It's no matter where you are at, like improving abundance is available to anyone. You can always do something to improve your situation, no matter what your situation is. So meditation, being in the present moment, mindfulness can also be beneficial, and just like tuning in to that gratitude in terms of everything that you're grateful for in the moment, all the abundance around you in this moment. And there is always something to be grateful for. We can always take that attitude of gratitude and apply it to various parts of our life. So I hope that this has helped someone. I love you. See you in the next video.